Yesterday, I went to a spiritual discussion circle with brand new people. It was exciting in its own way. But this question came up that was truly fascinating for me. And it went something like, I'm simplifying and paraphrasing here, right? I am a very scientific, analytical minded person. Do you guys have any evidence of this spirituality that you're talking about? And I believe you. I believe in everything you're saying. It's just, do you have evidence of what you're talking about so I can wrap my head around this stuff? And as he was talking, he became me, right? There was my old me from, well, not that long ago, but it was definitely my old me in that chair in the same room with my now me. And I got to explore this question from the different perspectives of myself. And that was a gift. It was amazing. I recognized immediately as he was painting a picture of where he was, that what was happening inside of him was this awareness rising. And when awareness rises in all of us, what it does, it shines the light on all the different aspects of us, aspects that by now are pulling on our being in all these different directions through their own mechanisms, but they're causing friction, they're causing conflict, they're causing debate, and it's causing the seeking, because now we need to do something to realign these pieces and come back to stability, because we like stability, we like peace, right? And so the question that came up in me was, which aspect of you is asking this question, right? Where is it coming from? And I also recognize that me presenting another aspect, especially the way he's needing it to be, is not any help, right? Because there was debate going on and neither side won. So now he's here looking for that answer outside of him. And so my desire was to bring more clarity to the conscious mind that, hey, there's these different aspects, which to me was a pretty big clue, or would have been a really big clue at that time. But without hesitation, he said, oh, that question is coming from my mind. And it was so interesting because I completely forgot what I thought the mind was at that point. It was just like, oh boy. At that point, I had this definition that the mind is my memory. And now I know my mind is not a place. My mind is a verb, is not a noun. The mind is a CPU, is what the brain does. And so it was so good to kind of review that within myself, to have that expansion and compassion for my old me, and to realize, oh yeah, that's such a common thing, especially coming from the scientific background, because you don't have to think. It is given to you. This is how reality is. Look at all these theorems. Look at all these amazing scientific communities and all these Nobel Prize winners and all these stuff. It's like, they are smart people. They're geniuses. They figured this out for me, and I can just take that in. And I've learned that. I've come to identify with that. I've come to accept who I am. I'm building up this persona, and I have so much invested in that, right? The diplomas and whatever, all the resources that went into this reality outside and the reality of who I am now. But now this other aspect is putting pressure on me to explore within my mind outside of my memory structure. And I remembered in that time how worthless I felt, right? Because it's like, well, who I am, who am I to create a reality through my own worthiness, through my own authority, through my own power? It's like, I'm not smarter than all these other people. Like, how could I do that? And yet, that was kind of the ask, right? It's like, can you understand that you are your own unique identity here? And you do have that power to define and to explore. You have a duty to yourself to explore reality inside your mind, outside of memory. The memory is actually very small compared to everything else inside the mind, right? And so I totally got to experience that difference in myself, right? And then I also realized how I came to the circles before and how much pressure because of this unworthiness. And because, I mean, very simply put, it was easier to put that responsibility on somebody else. Show me the evidence. You do it, because I can't. I'm not responsible enough with such a big thing, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm trusting you to do it. But now I see how much heat, right, it puts on a relationship when you enter a circle with so much pressure. And some people are really good. They immediately put the clarity out there, right? Where it's like, well, I can share you my experience, but that doesn't mean that it is your experience or you're going to find a truth in it. Here it is. And that's exactly it. And I immediately had this picture in my mind that if I were to come to these seeking circles and I would bring an empty cup, and that was my question, I would put this empty cup with my question on the table, and the table is this neutral ground. And then the person that knows the answer can put it in however they see fit, but then they are free to express it in a bigger way, in a more authentic way in themselves, because now they don't have the responsibility to fine tune it and to figure it out for you. They're just sharing their own truth in its fullest. They put it in the cup, and then you can approach the cup. You can pick up the cup, you can hold it, maybe you can smell it, right? And then you can decide for yourself. The responsibility is now within you. The discernment is also within you to say, yes, it's a definite yes, it's a definite no. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to leave it on the table for a little bit longer. But that exchange, I'm seeing it so beautifully now, creates this expansion that even though, again, this is my own experience, I would leave these circles thinking, well, there was nothing there. Nobody showed me exactly how this reality is. Nobody brought me this hard evidence. And you're feeling kind of deflated, but you have no idea what that did to your expansion in your vibration, in your perception. That freedom was such a gift to you that allows the next step to come in. Without an expansion in that vibrational field first, you cannot integrate the understanding into your consciousness. And sometimes it can happen right there in one moment. It doesn't have to be, piecemealed. But that was really beautiful for me to see and to recognize really all these people who gave me so much more that I was aware at that time. And I don't know, it was just massive. It was very I had a lot of compassion for myself to recognize how much effort there was in my seeking, and how beautiful that unfolding was, even though, it seemed like it was forever with a lot of sweat and tears. Yet here I am. I still get to appreciate that. And I'm also sharing that with you. I don't even know why I got so emotional, but I got. And so here I am. I'm sending you that recognition, and I honor you wherever you're at, because it's beautiful. It is. Even though it might not seem like it is. So I'm sending you my love and my strength.